What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and in this video, we're going to be doing a comparison between the iPhone 11 and the Samsung Galaxy A71. Now, I've actually received a lot of comments and requests to do this comparison, and even though these phones are very different, I do think this is a choice that a lot of people might be making right now. The iPhone 11 is technically Apple's cheapest current phone, at least right now, and the A71 is Samsung's most expensive new device in their A series lineup right now, which is sort of their budget and mid-range line. So in a weird roundabout way, we're sort of comparing budget device to budget device, since Apple doesn't go any cheaper, and since Samsung didn't do a budget S series phone this year. And if you're trying to save some money on a brand new device for 2020, these phones might be the ones you're considering. It is going to be tough to compare these phones though, since, like I said, they're just vastly different devices. But I'm going to do my best here to go ahead and go over everything you guys need to know in this video, and hopefully by the end, you'll be able to decide which phone might be best for you. First things first, let's actually talk a little bit more about the price. Even though the iPhone 11 has been out for more than 6 months now, it still sells for its retail launch price of $699 for the 64GB model, and goes up from there, with 128 and 256GB models costing more. Apple doesn't really do discounts or deals on their current phones, but fortunately, you can still save a little bit of money if you know where to look. Amazon has a few listings for the iPhone 11 right now through their Renewed program, and going with them might save you around $60 or so, which isn't too bad. But really, any which way you look at it, you're still paying well over $600 and possibly even more for the iPhone 11. The Samsung Galaxy A71, on the other hand, has only been out for about a month or two now, but it actually has come down a little bit from its launch price. You can grab a new unlocked A71 on Amazon for just a bit under $400, which obviously is significantly cheaper than really any iPhone 11 you could find. So obviously, if you're price conscious and are really trying to save some money, the A71 is a clear choice. You're likely saving $200 or $300 upfront right away going with this phone, and I think that's a pretty significant chunk of money. And if you guys are interested in picking up one of these phones for yourself or doing some comparison shopping of your own, I'll have links to all the Amazon listings and everything down below in the video description, so check down there so you don't miss out. Price is of course just one factor to consider though. Physically, these phones are obviously very different, and the difference begins right when you pick these devices up in your hand. While the iPhone 11 is sort of the budget device from Apple in a way, they didn't compromise on the build material. This is an all-glass and aluminum phone that feels like any other 2020 flagship device. It's a well-built, premium smartphone that's heavy, sturdy, and it conveys a sense of quality that you'd expect from an Apple product. With the A71, Samsung extended the budget approach to the materials here. This is a phone that looks like it might be made from glass and metal, but it actually is an all-plastic build. The shiny, glossy finish still feels nice in the hand, and the chrome accents are a decent touch, but you can certainly feel the difference. Now, plastic is more durable and reliable than glass, and fortunately, the A71 doesn't feel cheap at all, which is great. But when it comes to the overall quality and kinds of material used, the iPhone has the advantage here. Size-wise, the iPhone 11 is a 6.1-inch device, while the A71 is a larger 6.7-inch phone. In the hand, the iPhone 11 is a little chunky, but it's still comfortable overall. I always felt that it was sort of a good compromise, a big enough phone, but not too big that it's tough to handle with one hand. The A71 is obviously the bigger and taller device, and that's great if you're looking for the maximum screen size, but I realize it's not necessarily a device that fits everyone. I think the thing you'll notice most though, aside from the physical size, is the fact that the A71 just offers a better design. When it comes to cramming in the most screen in the slimmest form factor, the A71, I think, is significantly ahead of the iPhone. Across the top, the iPhone 11 still rocks that huge notch that really stands out, while the A71 offers a more modern and premium-looking front camera cutout. Also, really all the way around the display, the iPhone has much more noticeable bezels, those thick black borders that sort of hug the screen. The A71 just does a much better job at stretching the screen to the corners and edges, with a lot less bezel in the way. And overall, it offers a significantly better screen-to-body ratio. All in all, while the A71 is bigger and taller, like I said, it better utilizes its space. That means that you're getting more screen real estate in a sleeker form factor than what you get from the iPhone. And screen size isn't the only major difference. You might already be able to tell that these phones actually have very different screen technology as well. The iPhone offers Apple's own Liquid Retina display, which is an IPS LCD panel with a resolution of 1792 by 828 and packing in just 326 pixels per inch. The A71, on the other hand, offers a true Super AMOLED Plus panel at the full 2400 by 1080 resolution and cramming in 393 pixels per inch. Now, I know the argument of AMOLED versus LCD isn't always clear. I think an AMOLED panel looks really nice, especially with its super deep and punchy colors, but I also know some people just prefer LCD for whatever reason, and that's okay. What you can't really deny here, though, is the fact that the A71 simply offers a sharper, more crisp viewing experience in nearly every situation. This is particularly obvious when viewing text or like lines on a page. The pixels are present on the iPhone, but are significantly less obvious on the A71. Personally, I do like the display as a whole on the A71 better than the iPhone. I like that it's an AMOLED panel, I like that it's a true 1080p resolution, and I like that it isn't framed by that thick border or distracting notch. You might be able to tell me that you like the look of LCD better, and that's fine, but you can't deny the fact that objectively, the A71 has the sharper display and better total viewing experience. Taking a look around at everything else going on with these phones, once again, we've got some important differences. The A71 offers expandable storage via a micro SD card slot, while the iPhone 11, of course, does not. The power and volume buttons are mostly the same with these phones, just on different sides. And down below, the iPhone has just a Lightning port and speaker, while the A71 still offers a headphone jack, in addition to USB-C and its speaker. But one thing I do want to point out is that while the A71 has just the one single bottom speaker, the iPhone 11 actually offers dual stereo sound with the bottom speaker and an additional one in the earpiece. I shouldn't have to tell you that dual stereo speakers are the winner here. They sound better, they get louder, and they're just a nicer, out loud listening experience. I think the iPhone in general has the best speaker setup on any phone right now, and while the A71 is still fine, it just can't compare in this case. A couple other physical things to mention: the iPhone 11 does offer an IP68 water and dust rating, while the A71 does not. And the iPhone offers wireless Qi charging, while the A71 does not. Both of those features mainly have to do, I think, with the A71 compromising on cheaper materials and abandoning those additions as a cost-saving measure. But with the iPhone, none of those compromises were made. With the A71, however, one compromise that wasn't made was in offering a fingerprint sensor underneath the display. While I sort of have a love-hate relationship with it, it isn't as consistent as I like, I at least appreciate the fact that it's there, and you can utilize it in addition to Face Unlock. With the iPhone, the only unlocking method you have is Face ID, which, as you guys know, I also have a love-hate relationship with. Realistically, it's more of a personal preference than anything else as far as how you want to unlock and access your phone, but just know that you do have one more option at least with the A71. As far as the specs, the software, and the overall performance, we're basically comparing apples to oranges here, but there are a couple of things I do want to talk about. First off, the iPhone 11 packs Apple's own Bionic chipset and GPU, as well as 4 GB of RAM. The A71 has the Snapdragon 730 chipset, Adreno 618 GPU, and the choice of either 6 or 8 gigs of RAM, depending on the model you choose. The specs here, though, are super tough to compare, mainly because these phones are paired with completely different software that's optimized differently for each device. Obviously, the iPhone runs Apple's own iOS software, while the A71 has Android. But you should know that both of these phones do support the latest updates, iOS 13 and Android 10, and I fully expect these phones to be receiving updates for years to come. And while the A71 may seemingly offer better specs, especially with more RAM, you have to keep in mind that Apple has control over everything: the hardware, the software, and really even the third-party apps in the App Store. So they can ensure that nothing really ever needs more than 4 gigs of RAM inside their phones. I think both of these phones perform really well overall though. I think they can do just about everything you ask of them, and while they aren't technically the best specs or the most powerful phones in their class or that you can even buy right now, they're each going to be a great option for most people. At the end of the day, it's really just a matter of personal preference. Do you prefer iOS or Android? Which ecosystem are you already invested in? For me, it's iOS with the iPhone, but the A71 offers a fantastic Android experience in its own right. I think the only other consideration you should have as far as software and specs is the longevity factor. Now, I did say just a moment ago that these phones will be receiving new software updates and support, but the lifespan of each phone will probably vary. With the A71, you can expect 2 or 3 years of Android updates, and likely no more than that. With the iPhone, Apple has gradually been supporting their devices for longer, so the iPhone 11 may very well have a 5-year lifespan or more. You are paying more upfront for the iPhone, of course, but years down the line, it may make a better long-term investment than the A71, which could in a way save you money. When it comes to battery capacity and battery life, the iPhone 11 has just a 3110 mAh battery inside, while the A71 packs a 4500 mAh capacity battery. But like I explained with the software, you're once again dealing with phones that are optimized differently and that perform differently. While the iPhone 11 does have a significantly smaller battery, it's a phone that has no problem lasting a full day and then some, and that's also the case with the A71 as well. Obviously, there are a lot of other things to consider, and how you use your phone each day will be a contributing factor with both devices. But in this case, I don't think you necessarily need to be looking strictly at battery capacity when it comes to which phone lasts longer. There are no battery issues present with either device. Finally, let's talk about the cameras because, once again, we're dealing with some very different things. The iPhone 11 has just 2 lenses around back: a 12 megapixel main shooter and a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. The A71 packs a quad camera setup, which includes a 64 megapixel main shooter, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 5 megapixel macro, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. Now, yes, the A71 at least at first appears to offer more, especially with its overall setup. But when it comes down to real world side-by-side pictures, the choice isn't always clear. The A71 with its considerably more megapixels will often show more detail in a picture, which is good. But I think the iPhone is a more consistent picture taker in general. I think the color is more accurate on the iPhone, and the pictures seem a little more pleasing to the eye, less overexposed and less saturated. The iPhone 11 also does a better job in dim lighting and at night as well. And when it comes to selfies, the iPhone 11 is the winner here too. It may not have the specs to back it up. The A71 has a 32 megapixel selfie camera, while the iPhone's is just a 12 megapixel lens, but I've personally always preferred the look of selfies on the iPhone to really any other smartphone. And the iPhone is significantly better at taking videos as well. At the end of the day though, I think there are pros and cons with each phone in regards to their camera capabilities. You do get more potential with the A71 for sure, but the iPhone does still take great pictures too, even with its relatively limited setup. And I think you're just gonna have to decide which images you personally prefer. So here are my final thoughts. Honestly, because these phones are so different, this is a very difficult comparison to make. If you're an iPhone user already, I think you'll likely be leaning towards the iPhone 11, even if you are paying a premium for it. It's just tough to leave the Apple ecosystem. And the phone is nice. It's premium, it's well optimized, and it isn't really lacking much, as far as an iPhone is concerned at least. But the A71, you just get so much more. A bigger, better screen, more camera potential, and all for a significantly cheaper price too. Value-wise, the A71 is obviously the way to go, but as an iPhone 11 user myself, I'm still happy with that phone too. So there you go, that's everything you need to know about these two phones. Let me know which device you guys might choose, the iPhone 11, the A71, or perhaps something entirely different. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.